Alright, well, it shouldn't take too long to explain this video of what I'm going to talk about here. So right now it's noon. I'm making like 20 amps. And, you know, my afternoon panels that aren't getting much sun right now or anything directly are at 3 amps input to the batteries. Now, when I made coffee this morning, you know, the inverter was screaming. Because I was charging my, it's just barely enough to run a coffee maker that's like 1500 watts off these things, off this whole system here, for batteries. Because this is only like, I think 85 or above percent efficient. So, and the batteries aren't lithium. So, they don't really do what a lithium battery would do. So lithium battery, I think it'll put out full power until it's just done, and then these ones just slowly taper off or something, I think. But anyways, they were cheap and they work. So it was sitting at about 11 volts with the scooter plugged in and charging, and it was screaming at me because I plugged my phone in. So I was trying to charge it too, but dropped it down below 11 volts. Doesn't like that. So still did it though, still did its job. But now, right, now that I have 20 amps coming through on the 400 watt panel system on the side, and I got like a meager 3 amps here, but it doesn't really matter. They produce about the same when the sun's hitting both units there. And I can make a pot of coffee without this thing screaming at me, no problem. Like, especially if the batteries are fully charged, like I can do whatever. It's crazy. It's quite a bit of power, especially when the sun is actually hitting the panels. So the thing is what I'm just trying to explain here is you don't need all that much battery, you know, to do a bunch like heavy duty stuff. Really, you can actually have a battery setup like this with like some old batteries that are probably not that great, and then, you know, maybe whatever you can get, right? And then a nice efficient inverter maybe, or a 48 volt system that you hook it up through, because this is 8 batteries, so you can get a 48 volt system out of this if you wanted it, right? And then you can charge it 48 volts and run a 48 volt inverter, and that's even more efficient. So you probably wouldn't drop the voltage as much running that coffee maker at a 48 volt system, right? So it'd be a more efficient system. Also, what I'm trying to say is that the panels, if you have more panels, that's the cheap part, right? Is the panels. The batteries are the expensive part. You can run more panels into the batteries until full charge, and as long as you're using the power while the sun is shining, right? You're not wasting power and overcharging the batteries or whatever. You are using all that extra power from the going through the system from the panels straight into the inverter, right? And then also drawing from the batteries, like mega, right? So it really helps a lot. Gives you extra power. So the more panels you got, the more power you got, kind of, if you think about it. So just look at it that way. So the more of those you got, the better, right? You don't need to actually store the energy. You just need to use it. So then that saves hydro, and that saves water, and all kinds of good stuff. So there's my explanation. Ciao.